Momoshiki's prophecy has changed, and what it means for Boruto will completely blow your mind. The infamous prophecy of Boruto chapter 10, where Momoshiki talked about the blue eyes, is not the same anymore. In chapter 76, Boruto recalled Momoshiki saying those blue eyes, which refers to a third person. Earlier it was believed Momoshiki was talking about the blue eyes of Boruto, but it seems like it was a mistranslation which confused thousands of fans. Not to mention, the monster has also figured out the mysterious ability of the only blue-eyed person in the house, which is Aida. So could it be that those blue eyes refers to Aida, and what's her secret power that Momoshiki has deciphered? Let's find out. The curse of being born to a privileged family, yet falling victim to an unexpected twist of fate, has completely wrecked Boruto's life. He is slowly becoming more mentally unstable, and nobody around him is concerned about this. The latest coming of Momoshiki, where he made Boruto witness a glimpse of future, literally made the boy shiver out of fear. And what's interesting is that Aida paid some attention to this sudden change in Boruto's behavior. He looked traumatized as he recalled the blue eyes prophecy, while somebody was staring at him with blue eyes. I have discussed the possibility of Aida being the one described by Momoshiki months ago. Back then, many people argued that Momoshiki was talking specifically about Boruto's blue eyes, but that's not true. This misconception rose from the circulation of this mistranslated panel of chapter 10, which stated that the blue eyes of Boruto will take everything away from him on a particular day very soon. Original panel stated Momoshiki saying those blue eyes will eventually take everything away from you, and this has nothing to do with Boruto's eyes or a specific day. There will be the influence of a person with blue eyes on Boruto's life that will eventually take everything away from him. A point to be noted is that Momoshiki made this prediction about Boruto when his main goal was to switch his destiny and take the whole control of his body. However, he failed terribly when Kawaki killed Boruto, so he was left with no choice but to regenerate his vessel's damaged organs. This ended up in him becoming a permanent part of Boruto's consciousness and leaking his thoughts into his mind unexpectedly. However, there was even a new plan that he came up with, that was to wait till Boruto loses everything through this person and then capture his identity forever. Suppose if Boruto loses the will to live and gives up on all the faith and hope, it will instantly grant Momoshiki a golden chance to take him over. The only person that the monster was suspicious about was Hamado, and the ability that he has given to his cyborg Aida. The lustful power that can attract everyone around her made Momoshiki think about it for a whole day. He finally figured this out, but due to plot reasons it wasn't revealed to the readers. The thing that Momoshiki has figured out about Aida could have some ties with the Shinjutsu stuff, or maybe a possible flaw of her enslaving ability. The reason I think it has something to do with the otsutsukis is because these celestial beings are also immune to the enchanting ability. To find out what's wrong with Aida's power, we will need to study the case of the only two people who were unaffected from her spell. Sarada and Sumire's mysterious immunity can help us to understand what Momoshiki has figured out about the Moon-Eyed Girl. The first theory explaining their immunity has something to do with their possible Otsutsuki connection. In Sarada's case, her father is the reincarnation of Indra Otsutsuki, who was a 50% Otsutsuki being, granting Sarada a portion of celestial powers. This theory will become more sensible once Himawari will meet Aida sometime in the future without showing any signs of being attracted to her. Same is the case with Naruto, Sasuke and even Hinata, I guess. Now the question remains, how did Sumire remain unaffected against Aida's spell if she doesn't have any Otsutsuki roots? Well, it's the other way around. Most of you might have skipped the part of the anime where Sumire's backstory was shown. It seems like the anime canon stuff is having a huge impact on the manga's content, with the introduction of Mitsuki's Sage Mode, the soon to be introduced Jogan, and now Sumire's backstory. Sumire's father was a devout follower of Danzo Shimura and a researcher at his organization Root. After the death of Danzo, Tanuki continued to do experiments with the Gozo Tenno, a fuinjutsu that was created to replicate Kaguya's secret techniques. He eventually bestowed this seal upon his daughter, who later gets over it after getting rid of her negative emotions. However, it was later replaced with a small red dot on her left palm, which helped her to stay in touch with New. This explains a lot of stuff. If a person has been modified with Otsutsuki DNA, he instantly gains an immunity against Aida. Maybe that's what Momoshiki has figured out, cause he knows that Otsutsukis desire power and are not lustful people who would fall for such tricky abilities. If a person denies the feelings of love or lust towards anybody, he can easily bypass this magic spell. Sarada and Sumire, having the DNA of an alien race who are only greedy for power and not love hungry, granted them this special immunity. Now many of you might argue, if Sumire has Kaguya's DNA, who has fallen for a human being and deceived her teammate, technically she must have fallen for her too. Well, the short answer would be Kaguya herself fell in love with a human and was not attracted through some magic spell. Even Code said that he doesn't know if he truly loves Aida, or it's because of her spell that he feels attracted to her. In simple words, Aida's power can be referred to as a lustful spell rather than a love spell. Otsutsukis can fall in love too. That's literally how they reproduce. But they are not lustful beings who would deny their main purposes and goals for some biological physical urge. This brings us to our second theory in deciphering the code of Aida's special power, followed by how Aida could take everything away from Boruto, so subscribe and hear me out. The reason both of these people did not fall for Aida could be because of their strong feelings for another otsutsuki, which is Boruto. Well, it's not as simple as that. If we say both the girls are totally in love with Boruto, who's an otsutsuki, the problem then arises with Code, who fell for Aida's charm, regardless of the fact that he devoted Ishiki. Technically speaking, since Code devoted Ishiki so much, he shouldn't have been a victim of Aida because of his strong feelings for the otsutsuki. A simple explanation would be, otsutsuki lovers are immune to this power, rather than otsutsuki worshippers like Code. Ishiki had greatly manipulated Code into becoming his follower and a godlike being after his defeat. He follows the otsutsuki religiously, which is way too different than what Sarada and Sumire feel for Boruto. In other words, Tenji, who was the lover of Kaguya, would also be immune to Aida's spell due to his romantic feelings for an otsutsuki. Same is the case with both of these girls, who have unknowingly gained a special immunity against Aida. Not to mention, the subtle foreshadowing of opening 10 has teased a possible enmity between Sarada and the Moon-Eyed Girl. Shikamaru also said the same thing in chapter 76, which increased the chances of this happening. So what possibly could get wrong? This brings us to the Blue Eyes prophecy and a theory that you must have never heard before. We know that Boruto will soon go against Kawaki sometime in the future, as this glimpse of the forthcoming could be a possible foreshadowing of the Blue Kama guy's eye getting scarred. But what if there is a huge involvement of Aida in this? The lustful power of Aida literally enslaves the victim to her. And if Kawaki and Boruto ever went onto the battlefield, it's obvious that the Moon-Eyed Girl is gonna take the side of her love interest. So what if Mitsuki in the flash forward scene is actually under Aida's spell, ready to fight Boruto? All four of these characters share some strong connections with the moon. Mitsuki and Kawaki betraying Boruto is literally equivalent to him losing everything. And after losing his moon in person, he would awaken a new moon in his right eye, the godly power Jogan. But that's not all. Momoshiki is hiding many more things from Boruto. He knows that the Blue Eyes prophecy was a reference to Aida. Still, he did not reveal this to Boruto upon seeing her for the first time. But why? It's because of his ambitious motive. The monster is patiently waiting for Aida to mess up Boruto's life so that he can take him over forever. The biggest nuisance in the shinobi world, Daemon, could also get handled in this way. Since Momoshiki knows what Shinjutsu is being used by Daemon, it's very likely that he knows its counter as well. Then comes the part of Toneri's prophecy, who made Boruto aware about the Jogan. I think the Moon Otsutsuki did not know that Boruto's gonna be a vessel for another ambitious monster. That's why the awakening of the Jogan is taking so much of time. Momoshiki is more of a personal headache to Boruto, while the real hardships that Toneri was referring to is the Blue Eyes prophecy, as well as his friend turned foe Kawaki. He definitely knew about the link that Boruto shared with Shiba Otsutsuki. That's why he appeared in his dream to tell him his prophecy. Find out more about their connection in this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stuff. I will see you next time.